we can get started.
Friends of Disney!
Friends of Disney and Percy.
Percy is Jonel's cat. As you can see, Jonel, Sean, and I are not in the same area together today.
I'm sick.
So we're doing a virtual recording for our next step for this episode to accommodate Jonel being sick, because no one wants to get sick.
No one wants the flu.
It's true. No one wants it.
Although I will say, if you haven't gotten the flu yet and you haven't gotten a flu vaccine yet, I do recommend getting the flu vaccine. They were actually correct this year.
Yeah, please get the flu.
Yeah, they actually were correct this year on predicting the strain for the vaccine. So it's actually a good year to get it.
I got it. So you should too.
Yes.
Here's the thing. I never get the flu vaccine. I am living proof you want the flu vaccine because I'm sick as a dog.
And I have never gotten the flu vaccine before I started working in a hospital, but now I'm required to. And I still have yet to get the flu. So the flu vaccine does work when it is correct.
I also just want to say that this guy has an immune system of a god. He's only gotten sick 3 times since I've known him. It's been nearly a decade. Half a decade,
yeah. But anyways, today's episode
is See the Life of Zack and Cody, the one with the German.
Episode 4 of Zack and Cody, to be specific, which I think this episode would have aired already. Never mind, I was going to plug the challenge from episode 2, but by now you guys would hopefully know the results of whatever it comes of the 150 subscriber challenge. If you wanted to see me in a dress.
We currently don't know the results when recording this, though.
Nope, it just released, though, 2 weeks ago. So, when we were recording this. But anyways, Zack and Cody episode 4. Who wants to give a brief synopsis of this episode before we dive in?
I guess I will. So, Zack and Cody are up to their mischief making again, and Esteban, bless his soul, is like, hey, Mr. Moseby, there's that inspector that's supposed to be coming. And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, well, I forgot to tell you that that's supposed to be happening today. And Moseby's like, oh. Well, I went on a TikTok hotel, so nothing could go wrong. Cue Zack and Cody. Cue things going wrong. And so, basically, Moseby's like, I'm going to send them to the Red Sox game. And so that way they're gone during this whole fiasco. And it didn't go as planned because she arrived hours late. And baseball games take a long time, so I'm really surprised. And basically, there's this whole rat fiasco because Zack and Cody are doing a science project with rats, where the rats get out. And so this woman, we're going to call her Greta, because her name is...
She's German,
and I feel bad, but I can't actually remember her name, and nor do I want to butcher it. So we're going to call her Greta. And she basically is like, Moseby, you may not come back until this, basically the council comes to see if he's doing a good job running the hotel. And until he comes back, she's in charge. And so Zack feels really, really bad with leaving with the rats. And so basically the rest of the episode is Zack trying to get Mr. Moseby back into the hotel, which helped successfully. And there's a beef plot about London Kristen's dog's birthday party, which literally no one else could care more about than London. And then...
No, that's about it.
Oh, and then the German lady that we're calling Greta is like, I will get vengeance on you, Moseby. Dun, dun, dun. And that was the whole episode.
You guys got any thoughts? I literally watched this episode and I was like, I don't know really what I'm supposed to think about in this episode. It happened. I don't have a lot of comments. It seemed pretty straightforward of an episode with not much to unpack, personally. What are your thoughts, business major?
I just thought it was kind of like one of those humorous episodes that you watch, but here you see that the boys learn a lesson in this episode, because Mr. Moseby lost his job, well, got suspended for a hot minute because of the boys' actions. And I think this is where the boys again see that their actions have repercussions, whether it's to their own actions or to others. And the boys, I think they like seeing Mr. Moseby run the hotel much better than Greta. I also forgot her name, so we will call her by Greta. But yeah, I think the boys much prefer Mr. Moseby, and they go up to his room, and Mr. Moseby's in a complete depression. Like, this man eats, sleeps, lives, breathes the Tipton Hotel. And you really get to see that, Moseby is really all about his career, and but he also kind of has no hobbies. That's kind of sad too.
Just wait till we get to future episodes with Mr. Moseby, and we'll unpack the tragedy that is the Moseby.
Yeah. But he is a workaholic, so...
I have a lot to say about this episode.
Is it mostly on the German aspect?
I had other thoughts. But the whole time I was watching this episode, I was reminded of Pitch Perfect 2.
Is she on Pitch Perfect 2?
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Pitch Perfect is a movie series by
DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Universal.
Starring Anna Kendrick and other famous people who can sing, including Ben Platt, who is my favorite character of the entire movie. And so the second movie is basically Bella and friends are performing in front of the president, accidentally show someone's hoo-ha, and have to
do a whole thingamabob of...
Had to good their name. And they have to go up against, like, the international acapella
groups.
And one of them is Dat Sound Machine from Germany. And they're, like, the bad guys. But, like, they're also known for having their really thick accents. And one of them is blonde and has a beauty mark. And is, like, the whole thing is Anna Kendrick is a character, her name is Bella, is just like, oh my gosh, she's so hot. Oh my gosh, am I not straight anymore? But, like, you're hot. And the whole time, all I thought of while watching this episode is, this is like a knockoff version of Pitch Perfect 2. Although, Pitch Perfect came out much, much later after this. Minus the hot German woman. Don't get me wrong, Greta was gorgeous, but had the personality of a clam. And I don't know, to our German viewers, because there's got to be one of you out there, we love you, we appreciate you, we know you're not like that. I've been to Germany before. Twice. And everyone I've ever met in Germany, besides that one guy on the train, is lovely. So that one guy on the train, dude, no pickpocketing my professor, please.
I would have lost my mind if Greta was my manager at all. Like, I would have sparked an uprising.
Greta reminds me of my current manager. And
oh, yeah.
Let's just say that I'm currently thinking about quitting my dream job.
But let's not get into that.
No, that's too personal for a podcast. Shout out to Cars Land. Brought to you by Cars Land. A land where you, too, can be a car.
But, it's nice to see because, there are good and bad managers out there. And, seeing a manager like Greta. Like, I'm thankful my manager is not like that at all.
You have Moseby instead of Greta.
I have a Moseby instead of a Greta.
I've had everywhere in between. Hold up. Okay, so very side tangent here. But going back to my work experience, we had this game where we hid spoons. Where did they go? I have spoons. I spoons, and I bought spoons. Where did they go?
That's the story part of it.
Okay, well, while I'm sick and losing my mind, I've had every manager that's horrible. From the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And then the beastly with Greta.
So, with your business management expertise, knowledge, and studies, what in your mind leads to a manager behaving that way? Like,
can I have a few guesses?
Lack of management. This is quite literally people who have never been a manager in their life before. And so bad managers either come from what they see from managers, and so they act like that manager, or they do not have the education on what management is, and realizing that it's a lot more. And there's also a completely different perception on bad managers. The manager could theoretically be great, but everyone on the team hates them. And it's because that manager is working towards a goal. Like, this manager could actually just be a really nice, ethical person, and they actually do their job correctly. They don't treat their employees like shit or anything, but, they're really starting to crack down on things, and so they're, like, really paying attention to the employees. I guess you could say similar to Greta, but not really. Greta's kind of a different example. But managers that are working on a goal and that everyone doesn't like, but they're actually a good manager, is just a manager that is really working on goal seeking and meeting expectations, because also managers, they get reviewed and so they need to make sure that the job that they're doing is reflecting what the company wants to see. And so obviously the job of the manager is to work with their subordinates to make sure that their subordinates are doing their job. And I worked in a kitchen for a very long time, and a good example would be, and you see this a lot in kitchens, but people are always trying to get more hours. And so you're really trying to crack down on people who are clocking in early when they don't need to be. So making sure that they're clocking in on time, and instead of like clocking in 15 minutes early or something like that. And everyone gets upset about that because they're like, oh, you're cutting my hours. And the whole team could just go crazy on that. And they're just like, you're a horrible manager because you're cutting our hours. When in reality, they're just like, hey, so I'm going to be paying attention to when you're actually clocking in, and we're going to work on corrective action for this. And for some employees, this could be write-ups, depending on how frequently they misuse this rule with the company. Others, it could be, they do it every once in a while. But in general, this company, it's happening quite frequently. And so the manager is just working with them on reducing that. And also, like, another thing that happens in kitchens a lot is that the late night crew, they stay late closing. And so the manager could stay behind and watch the team and how they close to make sure that they're doing everything in a timely, efficient manner. I don't know if you've ever... Sean, you worked in a kitchen before. I was like, the best example that I have for this is like, if you've ever worked in a kitchen, you know, that line crew, they tend to like goof off as they're closing down the line. It's quite common. So they got music going on, they're talking, and, you know, part of it is like they're slowing down, you know, and they're really trying to milk the hours. Some days they just want to leave because they just want to get right out. But other days, you know, you're seeing them take their time and really like slowly bring things over to the dishwasher and things like that. So that way, you know, they can leave as late as they can. But then that also leaves the dishwasher there, and they don't want the dishwasher there forever either. And so then it just becomes this ongoing effect. So then the manager could just be sitting there watching and just being like, hey, like, stop talking, go finish your job. So that way we can close the kitchen, because that's my best example I can think off of the top of my head. But in the School of Business and Management, they teach us more about corporate management and higher management, not so much middle management. I have more experience with middle management because I have done that before. And so I'm used to that. So I can speak from that experience. But in school, when you are in school for management, they're expecting you to be the next CEO, the next COO, or something along those great lines of you're going to get paid big money. That's the point of school, right? I know, it's how they sell you with these degrees. It all sounds enticing. But also, the thing that's like really kind of cool is you learn about my HR and my organizational classes were the best to teach this, because this one actually taught you more of like the middle management and how you need to pay attention to the team, because your team is your people. And so like if someone leaves the company and they had been working there for a long time, you essentially hold a funeral for the company for the loss of this employee, because everyone's going to be sad if this employee was very loved. Maybe they weren't loved, you know, and maybe they were let go because they were being a Karen or something. And so then the company holds a celebration to say goodbye to Karen. And these are kind of some things that we learned in the School of Business, which is very funny. Also very interesting. So you get to learn kind of that psychological view in management, and what kind of effects that does to a team in a company.
That's so interesting. I wish I had the brain for math and stuff like that, because I think business is so fascinating, but I know that I would suck so bad at it. Ask him, I look at like 3-digit numbers and I start weeping. I'm your essay sort of girl, your, hey, can you read this thing on Kant because I don't understand it sort of girl, but I envy people who can just math. And you're talking about business, is like, oh man, in another life, I was a business major. I was a CEO. I had all this business knowledge. In this life, I just not. The more you're talking about like HR and stuff like that, and like letting people go, the more I'm like, man, I am in the wrong job. Because when you work for tiny businesses, and I don't just mean like small, I mean like tiny. Mine has less than 15 people. Our boss doesn't have to answer to anyone else. And so if something were to go wrong, they know what I'm going to do. There's no one for them to answer to, which creates a really weird dynamic. I think that bringing it back to Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, I almost said Sweet Life on Deck. That's a whole other series. I think it's really interesting to see, like, obviously, London Tipton, who is in this episode barely, is like the daughter of like the Tipton, and Moseby has dedicated his life to the Tipton, and he obviously loves it to like an extreme point. But he obviously adores it, and it's his life, and he obviously cares about the staff so much. I think he would have been really good at these like business management classes. I think it would have been great.
Oh, go ahead, Sean.
Well, I was just gonna like allude to a point where there was an episode, I think it was on Sweet Life on Deck, where Moseby goes, "Oh yeah, you knew that this was the day I graduated from hotel management school."
Oh, that actually is a real thing, by the way.
And Moseby actually did it too.
Yeah. So you can get management specialties in a lot of things. Sorry, I'm really bothered, and I'm still looking for these spoons. This is why I should not record at home in my room more specifically, because I'm just like, I mentioned spoons, and now I'm like, where are the spoons?
Well, hopefully we should be in our regular filming location next time.
Maybe.
Yeah, hopefully I shouldn't be sick.
Okay, so should I tell my spoon story? I've alluded to it while Jonel's looking.
Yeah, let's go with this.
Also, I'm going to grab dinner real quick. And hopefully find spoons.
Okay, so let's talk about my spoon story while Jonel pieces out for a minute. Okay, so Sean knows this story incredibly well, but when I was in high school, I was severely bored by
Spoons? Where'd you go? You're colorful.
Sorry, we didn't see Jonel. Frantically looking around.
I can see Jonel.
Oh, yeah. For those of you who are just listening to the podcast,
Jonel's like wandering around the room looking for her spoons.
So anyway, I was really bored. During the fall, at some point, there was this in my like senior year of high school. There was this huge blackout, and so around the whole city, so like all of our heating and electricity went out, and our church was in the first places to get that power. And so, because I didn't have any power at my house, I decided to sleep over at the church with a bunch of our senior people because there was supposed to be this retreat that was canceled due to the blackout in the city. And so they decided to play a game of spoons. And the game of spoons is basically you have cards, you're supposed to like be sorting it. It's this weird card game where you basically have as many spoons as there are players minus one. So there's one less spoon than there are people. And then you have a big circle, and you're basically passing out cards to try to complete a series. So like 4 fours or whatever. I'm not explaining it.
You need 4 of a kind, and it's like a cards version of musical chairs, where the equivalent of the music stopping and everyone going for a spoon or a chair is when someone gets 4 of any card. So like 4 4s, 4 3s, not 4 of one suit, but 4 of like the type of card.
Yeah.
So if like 4 3s, 4 jacks, whatever. And then once someone grabs one spoon, then all the spoons are free game, which is why it's like musical chairs. Then everyone fights for a spoon.
Yeah, and then the last person to not have a spoon is out for that round. You remove a spoon, and then you get down to like 2 people, and then they're fighting for the spoon.
And it gets intense fast.
And then there's this game called Exchange Spoons, which you need to know is like when you hide spoons around the room. And so...
Yeah, so like rather than like putting like the spoons in the middle of the table, you are like, oh, I'm going to put one in the bathroom, I'm going to put one in this desk drawer, and it's like all hell's loose.
So, we're bringing it back to my trauma of Spoons, the game. I ended up deciding, because I, especially in high school, went to bed at like 8, 9:30. I've retreated back to this time, except I go to bed at like 7:30. It's like past my bedtime now, it's fine. I'm not mad or anything. But they decided to play extreme streams, and one of my readers decided to hide a stream while I was sleeping. And I ended up being tackled away by a football quarterback. I've only played streaming once since then.
Percy! Oh my lordy.
Oh, and Jonelle's back, and Jonelle's talking to their cat. So yeah, streaming is not my favorite game. I hate it. I got tackled by a football player.
So
my cat's trying to eat my dinner.
No!
So Jonelle, to put you on the spot, hearing what you said earlier about like management and things like that, where would you place Greta? Like, I could see a world where what you described of like a manager is just trying to achieve goals and employees are just unhappy that they're trying to achieve these goals. But where would you place Greta at in your management eyes?
Considering the fact she just went in there and she was only there to inspect and immediately took over the business, that's a no-no. Would not be happy with that. She also did not do a good job investigating, so it's clear she's not good at her job. Oh my gosh, sorry, dinner's so good. But, yeah. Greta is what's the word? Like, easy to cut to conclusions without fully looking at the situation. Because she barely got to look, like, she was in there for what, like 10 seconds, and then was like, Moseby, you're doing a crap job. Bye.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I can run the whole thing. And that realistically, that's not how that works. And so I would consider her a poor manager due to lots of lack of training.
I think we just need to reconsider naming this episode from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, episode 4, reacting to Jonelle describes business and talks about good and bad managers.
Is Mr. Moseby a bad manager?
No. No.
Sorry for the clickbait title.
No, look Moseby. Be back to fidget. Thank you.
But
I think Moseby deals with a lot of things that are outside of his job description. Like London. Also being the daughter to essentially London, or, you know, not daughter.
The father figure.
Father. Yeah. You know, because the CEO puts a lot of trust in him. And I think that shows something about his integrity. The fact that the CEO puts a lot of trust into him.
Or how much the CEO does not care about his daughter.
Yeah, no, that too.
Well, it's been 4 episodes we haven't heard anything about.
We learn more and more as time goes on about Mr. Tipton, especially getting into Sweet Life on Deck when you actually get to see Mr. Tipton.
It took that long?
Yeah, season 3 of Sweet Life on Deck, you actually get to see Mr. Tipton for the first time. But to be more specifically, it's season 3, and it's the part 3 Twister episode.
He watches a lot of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
I watch a lot of Disney sitcoms, obviously why we have a podcast, and I have a really good memory. So.
I don't watch Disney sitcoms. Although, it surprises me, at the end of every Sweet Life of Zack and Cody episode, I almost watched, can we watch another episode? Because, like, I enjoy it so much, which is so funny because during the episodes, I am hella stressed.
It's just because you're an empathetic person. You get secondhand embarrassment real bad.
Yeah, I can watch movies like Inside Out or Elemental. I love them. They're amazing.
They make you cry.
They make me cry. The butterfly.
For those listening, she's mocking about that line in that part in Elemental where they're trying to make Wade cry, and they're like butterfly, windshield wiper, half a butterfly.
I was actually watching Elemental right before this. Well,
I think
actually,
I think
when
we're
I
gonna
took a
have an
nap.
I think we're gonna have an Elemental episode coming up soon. I think.
Are we?
Yeah.
We gotta. Now we're talking about it. We love that movie.
It's true, but it's really hard for me to watch this movie because I do suffer from extreme secondhand embarrassment, and I don't feel like that's a good term to describe it because I have a lot of empathy for people. So watching movies where like people are doing dumb stuff, I feel it intensely. I'm like, no, and it's really hard for me to watch.
Yeah.
I'll explain more in my Elemental episode.
Okay, just so that way we can say we've talked about it. The stupid puppy party.
Oh, I was going to talk about Mr.Moseby's dance and how they're London, they're tipsy.
I don't think we need to talk about that right. At least as of right now, we'll probably get back into Moseby, but the stupid puppy party.
The way London treats this dog, man.
Man, I wish I was that dog.
Dude.
Yeah. That dog has its own phone.
Guys, just for the watchers of this, I wasn't allowed to watch much TV growing up. Especially when, like, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody was coming out. So, like, most of these reactions to most of these episodes are completely blind.
Yeah, she has not seen a lot of Disney Channel's, like, productions outside of DComs, which are Disney Channel original movies. So, all of you, like, this is the first time she's actually seen Zack and Cody working through it. This is the first time she's ever seen it, whereas me and Jonelle grew up with it.
Yeah, so when they're like, oh my gosh, this dog has a phone, it's genuinely being like, what? This dog has a phone?
Yep. This dog, Ivana, gets... I don't even know how to describe. Like the whole plot in this is that London's friend threw a party for her dog, and so London wants to throw a party for her dog, and Maddie ends up being the person that has to be stuck with it and put it together and everything. And it's just this weird side plot just to include Maddie and London in the show, basically, in this episode, basically. And it's so unbelievably stupid.
Oh my gosh. I don't, like, I've heard of dog second parties, but it's only something that, like, Rosanna Pansino has done as an influencer, raising money for charity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought it was a joke. Besides the raising money for charity, that's serious. But, like,
yes.
What do rich people do all day? And how much money do I have to earn so I can throw my cat's a birthday party? You can't see them, but they're off camera.
Yeah, it was just stupid. Do you have any thoughts, Jonelle?
I think this is the first episode we see how much London spoils this dog.
It's the first time we see the dog, and immediately it shows how much that dog is spoiled. And I can't help think about Greta's interactions with London to be scary. Like, this is the owner of the whole company's daughter, and you're just going to tell her to her face, I have bigger problems than your petty poochie party. Like, obviously, yes, there's bigger problems in the petty poochie party, but hello, look at who you're talking to.
Yeah.
On some level, I'm like, yeah, stick it to London. Sorry, that didn't work.
London's great, but early London is rough.
But, like, I see where guys coming from, but I feel like in all situations, having compassion is probably better than not having compassion. Maybe that's just because I'm really highly empathetic. So I tend to lean more. If I was Greta in that moment, I'd be like, oh, I hear you, that really sucks. I'll get to you in a moment.
She's also a child care teacher, so.
Who knows for how much longer?
Honey, relax.
I mean, we never threw a party like that for Sadie when she was alive.
No, and we've never thrown a party like that for Nova or Sora, which are our cats.
I haven't thrown anything like that for Percy.
I don't think I ever will throw a party for my cat.
It's pointless.
Unless it's raising money for charity.
Like, I won't lie, some of the humor was kind of funny. Like,
Maddie's costume was hilarious.
Maddie's costume, the ending scene where Maddie was like playing poker with the dogs.
Oh yeah, and then she won, and she's like, "The bones are mine."
Or that scene where Zack and Cody's scheme to get Moseby back is like going full out, and Moseby like stops the dogs and tells them to sit, and so the dogs sit, and so does Maddie and everything. And it's like the gag with it was funny, but the party itself was stupid. It was stupid.
Honestly, I think that cat party would have been better than that dog party. I think it's interesting that they brought all these cats because cats can be communal. Our cat Nova just walked in today, and we dropped out of pretty much on. He's okay, I swear. Cats are very territorial, and so that party would just be hissing, growling at each other.
Well, you get why the cats were there, right?
Yeah, because Zack and Cody called them in.
Yeah, okay.
I can't tell who's Zack or Cody.
They brought them in and everything because they knew it was a puppy party plus the rats. You have rats, cats, and dogs. That's a lovely combo.
It's a farmhouse almost.
But that scheme was so much fun to watch.
Okay, I think I figured out where the spoons might be. Hold up. And viewers, I'm sorry, I can't sit still. This also sounds really weird, but like I have been sick with the flu, and laying in bed and sitting is very uncomfortable because I've gotten a lot of hip pain. I thought the spoons went over here.
I'm recording now, I know.
Shoot.
Sorry, I'm talking okay. Did you find them?
No, and I thought they were then over on this side of my room. Anyways, there are a whole bunch of colorful mini plastic spoons, and I'm sorry, people. We are sick. And in the kitchen I used to work in, we used to hide metal spoons all throughout the kitchen in places that you like would have a hard time reaching, or like in just really weird places. So we would hide them like in between pipes. We would hide them in vents. And so when you were cleaning out a vent or something, you'd find a spoon and then you go hide it again. Just stupid things like that.
Yeah.
That's what we call a good community building.
So, Jonelle, what are your thoughts on like the different management styles of Greta versus Moseby? Like, obviously, there's a huge difference in how the employees react to them, but Greta very obviously has this like micromanage approach, whereas Moseby doesn't have that, but he still manages to run a very top tier hospital. Hotel. Sorry.
Someone works at the hospital.
But like clearly there's different management styles, but they have very different results from them. What are your thoughts?
I mean, obviously, because of Sweet Life and Zack and Cody, I'm gonna like Mr.Moseby. I think because micromanagement is a thing, so is macromanagement. And they both come into play in certain roles. And for Moseby's job, I think macromanagement is much more preferred for Greta's version, you know, maybe more micromanagement on a line is more preferred or something, you know, where
Or just,
she's
like,
dealing
training.
with a direct team,
Yeah.
and that is it.
Yeah, I think both can be good in different situations. But also depends on the team that's being, like, managed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sorry, I was, oh my gosh.
We're gonna end this episode early. But I love how Sean's question was very deep and thoughtful, and I was like, Janelle, we've been on an animal